first question I'm going to ask you is, I'm supposed to ask just one question, but that question leads to another question. So the first question is, what's your first memory?
I remember waking up in the hospital with pajamas on that had dinosaurs on them. And I think my head was bandaged.
You told me this.
Yeah. I think I was getting an eye surgery, which I had at a very early age, a couple of months. Waking up from the cloud of anesthetic was probably the first one.
And you just remember waking up, and it was, how short do you think it was?
How long was I conscious?
How long was the memory?
Oh, probably only a few seconds. I remember the pattern on my clothes and the wall, and I knew I was not in my own crib, I guess. And then I think I conked out again.
What did you feel? Nothing? Fear?
Nothing. Not fear. Maybe not nothing. I just felt conscious for just a moment. I understood. I felt like I understood what was happening. And then I clicked out again. Didn't feel particularly in pain or afraid. I guess the anesthetic was doing a good job.
That means a lot.
To who? To me?
It feels like the drugs brought you to life. The anesthetic.
Yeah, I guess if taken the wrong way, it could be a negative example.
It's happening in our world today.
I guess you have to be jarred out of your mind in a way to realize that you exist. I don't know. Like, isn't the first memory usually an awkward or painful or alienating one? It's probably unpleasant for a lot of people because then they see, like, not what I want.
But how is that your first memory? Suddenly.
How? That's the question, but it is. And for some reason, I know it's the earliest memory. There's no reason to develop consciousness any earlier, right? You've got nothing to change or nothing to say in any way. Doesn't make sense.
Okay. Great. That's a good answer.
I don't know. Different people develop at different speeds, I guess, but I just felt like this was the thing.
And from that question, we derived the other question, the second one, which is how do you have any beliefs that you think you've like let go of?
Oh yeah.
Since that first memory, how many? Is there one you can share with us?
Since that first memory, yeah. Let go of. I don't know. I used to be a Catholic, I suppose. I've let go of that.
Why?
Well, I feel like in some ways, behaviorally, I'm still a Catholic. In that it's a culture. Even if you don't believe in the credo of it. It affects you in a certain way. You respond to certain things in a way. I don't know.
Does he think it makes you a better person?
That's a loaded question.
Better,
yes, it makes you conscious of certain things. How you deal with people. And how you judge yourself. Because I guess any religion wants you to examine yourself. Which is good to a point. But I stopped believing in it. And I think I would have stopped believing in it anyway. About maybe 16 or so. I was at confirmation, the last step. And I think at any rate I would have stopped believing in it. As most people in my family have.
Okay, great. That's the question. That's the two questions.
Well,
do you have any questions for me?
What have you stopped believing in?
A lot of things. I still do kind of, not even kind of. I believe there's something bigger than me. Definitely.
Yeah.
I couldn't have stopped believing that. It's weird. I still have it deep and rooted in my mind that, like, if I'm here, it's definitely for a purpose, you know? If I'm here, it's definitely for something. It cannot be like I'm just another brick in the wall. And I could maybe just be another brick in the wall. Sometimes I have moments where that's so evident. But there are days where I'm like, okay, maybe maybe there's something high. There's a higher purpose. This is not of my doing, because I would have want things to go a very different way.
Of course. It never happens.
I feel like things are out of my control.
Yeah.
And no matter how much people try to understand you, they have their limitations of what you understand about yourself. So the way everyone will relate to you will never be the same. They relate to you from their experience.
Yeah.
Not from exactly what you're going through, because there's no way they will ever know.
Yeah, I think that's not only... That touches on religion, but that would be the case for all people, right?
Yeah,
you can only
what
judge someone from this.
Mainly,
yeah.
I've let go of the fact that whatever someone thinks about their life, how dare I? Because I do not know. People talk. We all talk. I have to ask these deep questions. That's why I made this. I want to ask questions that people really store for themselves. See if they can share that without feeling like abused or something.
Sure. I see what you mean too, and I have to say,
I let go of the fact that people are a certain way, and I need them to be a certain way for them to function. For them to function, it's like, no, it's out of my control. Someone is like this, and even though you want the best for the person, it's like, I know a lot of people who are ruining their lives, and you know too. Like, but how do you say it to someone? It's not even only the person who is doing the most evil thing. There are people who are just not in their body. They are just...
Yeah.
You feel no substance in them, but they're equally valid. You know, they have something that they bring to the table that you appreciate.
So let me ask, what do you think people should be utilitarian and think that...
What does that word mean?
They should act in a way where if everyone acted this way, the world would be a good place.
There's no such thing.
Should you measure yourself in that way? How do you evaluate your own movement in the world? By the reaction you have on other people, or by the way that you feel day to day, or by your own personal growth, maybe?
I try to listen. That's what I've been trying now. It changes.
Yeah.
Because you travel and you meet people.
Yeah.
It changes. Now I try to listen, because that's why I'm doing this even. Because people need you to hear what they're saying. It's not about taking that thing and making it your own.
Yeah.
Most people prefer that you find it yourself, but they would want to like share in that experience with you. So they try to say, oh, I've done this and this is what happened. Check it out. Sometimes people force it on you, and that's the basic point. People are believing what they believe in so well that they feel like sharing is important, which has never been a bad thing. It's never been a bad idea to share anything with anyone.
You have to share politely, though.
You have to share with the fact that you know something about the person. So that's why I say get to know the person.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
You need to, if you think something helped the person, how do you know? They probably tried it and you didn't even listen. So if you listen more, you can actually talk more to a person. You can talk from their point of view and put the dots together. It's like, if I say this to this person, I might get this reaction that it's not necessarily true. But if the person tells me something that I know I relate to it from my own side of life before meeting them, when you talk, things fall in place.
This is kind of a related question, I suppose, but do you deal with different people in different ways, or do you try to
that is the question.
Be fair, and like how much do you prepare your conduct or your conversation with someone when you are with them? Do you cater to their personality or their peculiarities in any way, or are you just in any given situation a good representation of yourself? I don't know, I find that I'm very chameleon-like in some ways about dealing with people. For example, if you're in a Chinese setting, you have to do the Chinese thing. It's what makes sense for the situation, you know. It's how you...
The term comes if you go to Rome.
Yeah, exactly. When in Rome.
When in Rome.
When in Rome, yeah.
Yeah.
And at least for Chinese versus other, at least this duality
everywhere
that exists. Yeah.
It's like, oh, but why did you come here if you didn't want to learn about us?
Yeah.
It kind of hits you in a different way. Everywhere you go, everyone has their own thing.
Yeah, sure. In China, you have the identity of being a Lawai, so it simplifies everything. You're talking to an old person, a young person, someone your age. You're always this Lawai persona. But when you go back to your own country, you have to deal with...
reality.
You have to deal with everyone differently, yeah, in some way, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the code for the way that you act? This is why they say that each language and culture is a different personality, right? How do you deal with the people in this culture?
Well, the whole language is a new personality on its own.
Yeah, it grows a new personality in your brain because you associate different things with each word whenever you learn them, you know? That sounds very loud.
That's how you learn the question. Well, that's the Chao fan.
Ah, better get that.
Yeah. So...
Chao fan ends our session to be continued.
Great to have you here.
Yeah, always. Sure. Is that your phone making that colossal sound?
I told you that thing works.
The buzzer.
Yeah.
Shit. It's
I don't know
so
why.
loud.